Hey guys! Today, we're diving into one of the oldest and most exciting sports in the world, boxing. From the intense battles of ancient Greece to today's high-energy matches, boxing has a fascinating history filled with incredible stories. Join me on this historical journey as we explore the origins, evolution, and cultural impact of boxing across the globe. Let's go back over 3,000 years. The earliest records of boxing can be traced to ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. The first depictions of people fighting with their fists appeared on tombs and clay tablets, showing that the desire to dominate through combat was part of human nature long before organized sports. Back then, there were no gloves or protective gear, and the fights were all about raw strength and endurance. Fighters used their fists, and the rules were almost non-existent. The goal was simply to overpower your opponent. But it was the Greeks who officially turned boxing into a sport. At the ancient Olympics in 688 BC, boxing became one of the most popular events, with athletes competing in a no-holds-barred contest. Picture this: no gloves, no rules, just two people trying to knock each other out or force the other to surrender. And that was just the beginning of the boxing story. Fast forward to ancient Rome, where boxing became even more brutal. Fighters wore gloves called cestus, made of metal, and these matches often turned deadly. Roman gladiators fought for their lives in front of massive crowds in grand amphitheaters like the Colosseum. The audience cheered for the bloodshed, with no rules to stop the violence. After the fall of the Roman Empire, however, boxing as a formalized sport disappeared for a while. During the Dark Ages, boxing faded from history as other forms of combat became more popular. Centuries later, boxing was revived in England. In the 17th century, boxing became an official sport, though it was far from the regulated activity we know today. At this time, gloves weren't used, and fighters fought bare-knuckle. This type of fighting became known as bare-knuckle boxing. The matches were brutal and could last for hours. One of the first champions was James Figg, who became champion in 1719 and is considered the father of modern boxing for his contributions to technique and rules. A key turning point came in 1743 when Jack Broughton, a pioneering boxer, introduced the Broughton Rules. These rules aimed to make boxing safer by addressing issues like excessive brutality and stopping fights when a fighter was seriously injured. Broughton's rules laid the groundwork for the safety measures we associate with boxing today. Then, in 1867, the Queensberry Rules were introduced, marking the birth of modern boxing. These rules required gloves, set time limits for each round, and prohibited dangerous strikes, like hitting a downed opponent. The introduction of these rules helped transform boxing into a more standardized and regulated sport. One of the first champions under these rules was John L. Sullivan, known as the last bare-knuckle champion. Sullivan became a larger-than-life figure, helping bring boxing into the mainstream with his legendary persona and iconic fights. But this was just the beginning of modern boxing. In the 20th century, boxing became a global sport, attracting fans from all over the world. From its inclusion in the 1904 Olympics to legendary champions like Muhammad Ali, boxing has produced countless stories and heroes. Ali's iconic fights, his famous float like a butterfly, sting like a bee style, and his social impact both inside and outside the ring made him one of the greatest boxers of all time. The 60s and 70s were the golden age of boxing, with unforgettable matchups like the fight of the century between Ali and Joe Frazier and the Rumble in the Jungle against George Foreman. Boxing reached its peak popularity during this era, becoming a cultural phenomenon and inspiring generations of fighters. Today, boxing remains one of the most popular sports worldwide, with millions of fans. Professional boxing, with stars like Tyson Fury, Canelo Alvarez, and Anthony Joshua, continues to captivate audiences with high-stakes matches. At the same time, amateur boxing still plays a significant role in the Olympics and World Championships, with athletes aiming to make their mark on the international stage. Modern boxing has evolved with technology, strategy, and excitement, making it more thrilling and precise than ever before. Boxing also continues to inspire millions of fans worldwide, from casual viewers to dedicated followers. It's no longer just a sport, it's a cultural movement that shapes our understanding of athleticism, perseverance, and determination. Well, guys, that was the history of boxing, starting from fierce battles in ancient Greece to becoming one of the biggest and most celebrated sports in the world. Boxing is about strength, effort, and inspiring millions of people to push their limits and achieve greatness. What do you think about boxing? Do you follow the sport? Are you a fan of any particular boxer or fight? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.